to advance over Minnesota, and the Red Hot Clippers, they're a slight favorite over the 4th seed Denver after winning their last 8 games of the season. So we're going to see Minnesota and Los Angeles on ABC this weekend at 8:30 Eastern. So the Wolves, we know they have Ant-Man, right? He's going to need some help. The Lakers have LeBron and Luka. What determines this series?
Well, listen, Minnesota's going to have to really up their game on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they're going to have to be better than solid. They're going to have to be elite. Luka has had his way with them. We all know what he did against them in the Western Conference Finals, and that was without LeBron James as a teammate. Now you've got LeBron James, and the way LeBron James has been playing, he's been playing for a few of these months like an MVP candidate, for crying out loud. So when you look at it from that standpoint, the Lakers are definitely formidable. We understand this, and Minnesota's going to have their work cut out for them. What I'm interested in seeing, Hannah, is this. Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, is a superstar in this game. There are moments where he has looked Jordan-esque. He's improved his three-point shooting. He can get to the hole at will, and he can elevate against anybody. And in a game of this magnitude, he's going to be required, or a series of this magnitude, he's going to be required to be a superstar. He can't just show up and be a star. He can't just show up and be a little bit better than average. In order for Minnesota to win this series, he is going to have to cement himself on an elevated level. We already know how terrific he is, but it's going to be called upon for him to give a little bit something more in order to knock off both Luka and LeBron. I don't think he can do it, but I think he can do enough to stretch this series to 6 or 7 games. I think he'll average over 30. I just don't know if anybody's going to help him for offensively.
Yeah, like what about Julius Randle? Wouldn't that be nice if he would step up in the playoffs? Yes.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I believe in him, though, but it would be nice.
I know. Okay. So we're talking former Knicks.
I said 6, but I'm going 7. I'm not confident. I'm not just saying that with my chest poked out that they're going to just beat the Timberwolves. No, it's going 7 games. Right. Anthony Edwards is like that. Anthony Edwards is waiting. And when I think about them, he is, S.A. And when I think about Minnesota, think about this. The last part of the season, we saw a chemistry, and they started to develop a chemistry. And I'm talking about Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. Julius Randle has been playing some phenomenal basketball for them. Okay, now you move over to who are the Minnesota Timberwolves? They're a bunch of dogs defensively. So they got a defensive identity that when they're locked in, they're a problem. Okay, you mix in a nice. Go ahead.
But my problem is formidable as they are defensively. Luka's the dude that they have no answer for. We know what he's done to the Minnesota Timberwolves now. We know that.
I know, but think about this, right? I want you to think about this. It's a lot different now with Luka versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's why. Luka thrives at his best against teams when he have what? A legitimate lob threat. See, people didn't understand this last year. The reason that things were so wide open for Kyrie Irving and Luka in that Minnesota Timberwolves in that series last year in the Western Conference Finals was because of Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, right? It's a different type. Like, is Jackson Hayes going to be that, right? Like, I just can't see it. Although he's been playing some good basketball, I just don't see it happening. So now all of a sudden, it's a Luka that's going to have to solely be set on step back threes because that's why he was one of the live threats so bad on a consistent basis.
Houston or Golden State? Who would have the better chance versus the Los Angeles Lakers, and why?
It would be Golden State, to be honest with you, because we know, you and I both know J.J. Redick game plan defensively, and that was one of the things I was concerned about is that he showed his hand a bit early in the season. When we watched him play Karl Anthony Towns, Jokic, what do the Lakers do? They pack the paint, take away driving gaps, and they force you to make shots, right? They force you to make shots from the three-point line. You can't do that shit against Golden State. You can't do that against Golden State. You're going to get exposed. So now it comes down to do you have the perimeter defenders to chase around Steph Curry? Do you have the perimeter defenders to stop a Draymond Green? And the answer is no. I think Golden State causes matchup problems for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think if the Lakers play the Rockets, that's perfect for the Lakers because the Rockets can't shoot the damn basketball.
Oklahoma City has been the creme de la creme all year long. They're the number one seed. We know what Shai Gilgeous is, what he brings to the table, and these brothers defend, and we got to give them some love and some credit. Who's the best matchup for them? Looking at the West and how things unfold, is there one particular team that you see beating them or at least pushing them to a 7-game series?
Oh, I'm scared of that second round. I believe the Clippers are going to win against the Denver Nuggets, and I'm scared of that second round.
So do I. I believe that as well. I think the Clippers are going to beat the Nuggets, but I'm not scared of the Clippers against OKC. I think that actually is a bad matchup for the Clippers. That's my personal opinion.
Tell me why.
Because when I look at OKC, right, don't get me wrong, the Clippers are going to be formidable for anybody the way Kawhi Leonard is looking right now if he continues to look this way and James Harden's doing what he's doing. I'm not knocking that. But you highlighted this best. Zubac has been very formidable, played very well this year, and deserves a lot of respect from everybody. Well, Hartenstein with Chet Holmgren, I mean, that's something formidable to help deal with that. Whereas Golden State is undersized against the Clippers, that's not going to be OKC's problems. And so now you got the ball players with the Clippers against these young lions on a come up in OKC that felt the sting of losing in the semifinals last year to the Dallas Mavericks and Luka. That's why I'm not feeling that way about them this go round. I think they'd be better, or they'd be even more ready. And I actually think somebody with the experience of a Luka or LeBron would be a greater threat to OKC rather than James Harden, along with Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard, even though I know they some studs.
I'm with you, but here's the thing too that goes that we don't highlight enough when it comes down to the Clippers. They have some damn dogs defensively on that perimeter. Okay, when you think about Chris Dunn, when you think about Derrick Jones Jr. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying that causes some problems because although Steph Curry somewhat had a good slash, he had a good solid game against the Clippers in that loss. Chris Dunn was hell on him. I was watching him fight over them screens. I was like, and Ty Lue actually called me, said he's one of his favorite players that he's ever coached because he wants to be that defensive stopper. I'm not saying that they're going to beat him. I'm just OKC. I still got OKC going to the finals. I'm just saying it scares me, as say what I've been seeing from the Clippers, and we both